systems go. Clear for liftoff.
We are live a little earlier than usual, about 4 p.m. Eastern time. The guys still have the leaders have 10 holes left. Wanted to get on here, talk about, how this third round is starting and kind of touch on how I think it's going to pan out. And then obviously get into the rounds for stuff as well. So Rory definitely looks a little shaky out the gates. Leave a comment. What do you think Rory's going to end up doing today? What do you think the lead will be? My guess is going to be 3 shots. I'm not going to say who's in second. I think it's going to be a 3-shot lead. Even the shots that he's getting out of jail with, he's getting lucky. He's getting lucky. It's very similar to his win at Sawgrass. Is what it feels like to me. Last year at the Masters, he was striping it all day. This time around, it just doesn't nearly look like rounds 1 and 2. I know it's hard for any golfer to sustain it for all 4 rounds, but little nerve-wracking. He's been in the mix since day 1 at Augusta this week, and we know Rory's a great front runner, but does he hang on? I'm going to say that Rory McIlroy does hang on, but I'm also going to say that this lead shrinks and we get some real drama tomorrow. Scottie Scheffler obviously doing a ton of great things. Had him as our one golfer we were on after round 1, and we went to someone else after round 2, meaning for round 2 and 3. Wish we were nailing Scottie Scheffler today because he definitely would have paired up with some other nice showdown targets. Shout out Patrick Cantlay. We were on him yesterday and not today. So we were just a day off on those 2 guys. But this has been a really fun start to round 3. And starting to talk about stats that we're looking for round 4. I'm not even going to pull it up. One, because only a few guys are done, but secondly, it's the exact same thing as round 1 and 2. The guys who are scoring in an individual round-by-round basis are all the golfers who are nuking off the tee and pairing it with approach play. If you missed the kind of tidbits I was touching on for the past shows, it's the combination of being long enough to have the ability to gain off the tee. To gain on approach. If you are well back, you simply just can't gain on approach at a high rate. Guys can do it for a single round basis. Guys can do it here and there for hole by hole basis. Look at Russell Henley today. Russell Henley is a perfect candidate of that. But really doing it sustainably is very, very tough around a golf course like this. And it's been 80% of the scores, 80% of the good scores on a round by round basis have been nuking off the tee and finding the approach play from big distance off of the tee. So let's bring the screen up, look at some wave split action for round 3 so far. Obviously, there's still a ton of golf to be played, but it's very interesting. I said that there was going to be no difference really in weather. Obviously, this is going to change. It's -3 and -0.5 from the morning. The morning is whatever, probably just about done. But early out, the guys in the PM are scoring. And what I said yesterday was there's no real difference in weather from the morning to the afternoon in today's round, but the player skill gap is quite different. So therefore, I thought there'd be a PM advantage because the players are simply just better in the PM and there's no real difference in scoring, difference in weather. So we see Sam Burns and Rory McIlroy kind of trembling a little bit. Rory just in the bunker on number 7. Sam Burns just avoids the bunker on number 7. But these two are surely dueling it and both showing some punches. Sam Burns chip on number 3 and his par save after that was quite incredible. So shout out Shane. Shane was one of our core plays in the DFS week-long stuff. So we got some sweats. Before I get into any of the rest of the show, the biggest sweat that I think we got going is Rory Scottie dual forecast at 50-1. I gave it out on the plate plan. I gave it out on a few other shows, and I just thought the number was far too long. Rory Scottie dual forecast. How Tongley is absolutely minting flags. Scottie Rory dual forecast was 50-1. I thought that number was far too off what it should have been at the market, and they're both coming in some questionable form. It made too much sense for them to both not be coming in the best form to finally duel it out on Sunday. And we have a real world for that to happen tomorrow. So is that Scotty? Oh, he's going to have some trouble on 18. Let's talk some weather for round 4 because there's some stuff to talk about here. So here is the weather forecast for round 4. Peep it for Sunday. It looks fairly benign in the morning. It's going to be gusting a little bit. And then once the leaders tee off around this 2 o'clock mark, look at this. Look at these gusts. Everything from 8-mile-an-hour steady winds to 20-mile-an-hour gusts. Not that it's a different direction, not that it's unsustainable. It is simply just different and more than we have seen in rounds 1, 2, and 3. It's been so benign so far to start this golf tournament. Now, throwing in wind changes a golf course completely. It's not going to necessarily change the ethos of Augusta National, what we've seen so far the first 3 days, but different guys are going to have different rounds. With that being said, I'm still looking at the target of distance and approach, but we can get a little cheeky with it. We can go with some guys that are lower owned. We can go with some guys who might not be the highest in terms of those things because the weather is going to be different. Also, with that being said, I think this is a real week for chasers, for playing chasers outside of the top 20, outside of the top 25 to post that backdoor top 10 and give you those round 4 showdown scoring points. Because we know in showdown, round 4 is a little different. We have the final round placement points. And some weeks I'm like, I think the top 10 is going to stay pretty similar because of the weather, the way the golf course is playing. But tomorrow, with that weather forecast, with the final round pressure, how often do we see guys around Augusta National eject in the final few groups? It happens year after year. So I think you're going to need a few guys from the top of the leaderboard that are going to be mainstays and staple and potential chalk. But I think going with 3 guys outside the top 20 could get you really unique and really different. And they could easily backdoor a top 10 tomorrow. And that's what I'm going to be looking for that. So next thing I want to touch on is contest selection. There's a few contests that I think are really interesting. The 500K is awesome. It's just like a super cool tournament that we don't usually see. $600, 28 max. It's a big contest, but the payout is fun, which I'll bring up. I really love the $250 4 max. It lets you build a nice little player pool with only 50 something guys making this cut. You can only build so many lineups. You can only like so many guys. So I think a 4 max is perfect for max entering a little contest. But the contest of the day is the 20K long drive. It is the $100 single entry, which I will pull up on my screen right now. So this $100 single entry, the 20K long drive, I love this payout. It is $3K up top, and that $300 mark, the 10%, comes in at 18th place. So I really do like this payout structure. I think it's the best way to spend $100. Gonna fill up on the quicker side. So definitely get over there and get to this lineup, get to this contest. I think it's the best contest for round 4. Before we get into some players, before we get into some stats, I want to touch on some of the information at Chip It Nation, which I will bring up the banner right now. Oh, it's already up. Use that code BOOTS. You can see Scotty Scheffler was a high leverage pivot at only 17%. All you had to do was go on the stone, see who was highlighted, and bang, you could have started your lineups with Scotty and hopefully got on a few guys down below. The slate plan from yesterday was not our best work. Obviously, we're going to talk about it when it's bad. We're going to talk about it when it's good. But sometimes the slate plan is great. So use the slate plan, use the stone, and use the PGA Showdown projections, which will be updated following this round. Code BOOTS gets you 10% off. If you can build a player pool of 12 guys, use 3 players from the stone, use 3 players from the slate plan, use 3 players from the projections, put them all into your Saber Sim, and bang, you are in for a nice little you could be in for a nice little day, because not one of these will ever be all correct. Get your data from a few different things, and Chip It Nation allows you to have so many different avenues of success. And there's even more than just this. It's even guys I talk about on the show, guys that you see from Tambo and Alex on Twitter. It is just, there's so many different avenues for success around Chip It Nation, and we see people, you guys listening to the show, do such a great job dissecting information and putting it into your lineup. Way better than I could ever do. I'm just here to talk, honestly. So you guys just do such a good job at that. So that wraps that up. Next thing I want to do is touch on some player stats, see who fits the bill of what we are looking for in terms of round 3. So I want to touch on maybe 3 guys up top and maybe 3 guys down below, and then see how these guys can potentially go to a lineup. So I don't mind starting with Rory McIlroy. I do worry a little bit about like this heavily weighted short game, heavily weighted putting. I just do simply to trend back in the wrong direction. But Shane Lowry, although he's not long, he is doing a lot of things well in terms of approach, which is a massive. Is Scotty going to hold this? Is Scotty going to hold this? Scotty Scheffler saves par on hole 18 to get in the house at 7 under. But Shane Lowry, although he's not long and we're looking for long, he's minting the irons, and we're seeing guys mint the irons, and the short game is there. And he also has plenty of room to chip in. Like, we know how saucy Shane can get with the iron. So I do like Shane in that regard. A long hitter that kind of fits the bill of what we're looking for is not necessarily Jake Knapp. I don't want to see this approach play is not doing enough. He's had 3 rounds to gain anything, and he hasn't gained anything. Michael Brennan. I've been on Michael Brennan all week. He was in the week-long plays, and there's no reason not to go back to Michael Brennan. He's very long. Look what he's doing on approach, and the short game is fine. The putter is not all the way there. If Michael Brennan has 1 plus 1.5 putting round with this stat line, who knows what he could bring to the table. So I definitely like Michael Brennan. We played Ludwig today as our one golfer we were on, but he shot 3 under, not the end of the world. But the short game is just not coming to earth, but he's minting the irons, and he's very long as well. I love Xander Schauffele for tomorrow. He's sitting at T20 right now. Maybe he finishes around T15, T12. He can backdoor that top 4 like no other. And this is a perfect stat line. Great driving. He's long. Great approach. Short game is a little bit weak. Putter is about average. He has so much room to gain in those areas, and we know he can gain in those areas like it's his job, which it is his job. One nice short game round from Xander, and he could shoot that 60, 65, 66 tomorrow. So I absolutely love Xander Schauffele. He will be in the lineup for sure. Who else down here is potentially doing what we want? I don't mind Marco Penge. I could see it happening for 1 round because once you get down towards the bottom, there's going to be no stats are going to be great. Not everything is going to be solid. But Marco Penge can, like, he's long enough. Can he just have an anomaly short game day? It happens every day with someone. Could Marco Penge be that guy? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I did want to give a nod to Dustin Johnson as like the one live guy I talked about all week, but I cannot back this stat line at all. I think John Rahm is a better candidate if you want a live guy, but I will not be playing any of these live guys. One more guy down here that we could potentially go with is Kurt Kitayama. He is losing a baffling 9 strokes around the green. That's not great. That is not great. But in the 6K range, we need something to work on, and he has the ball striking ceiling to potentially do something. We saw what he did in round 1. He got off to a great start. So I don't mind going to Kurt Kitayama at the bottom at all. So there's going to be no one player that I'm on. That's not going to happen today. I'm going to go through the DFS lineup, and I'm going to build a lineup from scratch, hand selected, and see what we could do. So this is potentially 6 players that I am on. Bear with me as I load up the DFS pool, share my screen again, and let's build a lineup because it is Masters Week. I already said it, how much I love him. I'm starting with Xander Schauffele at 10-3. He's currently in 20th, but like I said, Xander Schauffele knows how to backdoor a top 5 like the best players in the world, like him and Pat. So I am starting with Xander Schauffele. That leaves us 7-9. Next thing I like to do is go towards the bottom, get a 6K guy if we need him, and let's do Marco Penge. Marco Penge is 65. Could Marco Penge have that anomaly short game day? I think it's possible. He has the length off the tee, and everything else could fall into place. I don't expect him to gain strokes on approach. We need him to have an anomaly short game day, which could happen. There's no one else is going to be perfect. I also want to go back to Michael Brennan. He's been our guy all week long. Why would we stop? And he has the profile that we're looking for. So Xander Schauffele, Marco Penge leaves us 8,800 left to build with. We can go all the way up top and see what we want to do. Now, Cameron Young, currently in a tie for second. We know he's going to get some nice placement points. Do I think he's going to eject? No. He has found his game these last X amount of months, and he's just so confident. Cameron Young is going to fire at flags, and when he's going, we know what he can do in the final round. We know what he can do in a single round. So Cameron Young at 97 is going to be the fourth player in the lineup. That leaves us with 8,400 left to build. We have so much room. We could basically do anything we want with two players in the 6K range. I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth at T32, if he shoots a 67, 66, not out of the question, that could be enough for a top 10. That leaves us $8,300. I think we need to go towards the top as much as possible. And I'm going to go with Sam Burns. Sam Burns, $7,800. He's a golfer who answers the questions. Very long off the tee, has the spike approach when it's going. It's obviously going away this week, and a great short game. He's currently in 5th. He's going to be in one of the final groups tomorrow as long as today goes well. But even if he shoots 74, he won't be too far from the top 10 and could easily have another round tomorrow to get that 6th place finish. So I love this way to build a round 4 showdown lineup because you're kind of fading away from the top 10, but you're positioning yourself to have guys finish inside the top 10, which is all that matters. And I think the way the weather sets up for tomorrow, guys starting outside the top 15, top 20 is going to go a long way with the weather, get rid of that top 10 pressure from some of the guys who might not be the ones you want with that pressure. So that is the lineup. Those are potentially 6 golfers I'm on. Tune in to the site in the next few hours where the slate plan will be up when you can get the official plays. As always, song of the day for round 4 showdown. Go check out the playlist. Drag the Lake by Amity Affliction, an all out band. So check that out. Any questions, you know where to find me. And as always, let's ship it. Catch you guys soon. Peace out.